Hey guys, it's Alex from the Sidewalk Science Center up at the Bradenton Riverwalk, and today I kind of wanted to change a little bit of topic instead of, going all out on these astronomy videos like I have been. I've kind of come to the close of those finally. I want to talk about, how did Sidewalk Science Center itself become founded? Why did I create Sidewalk Science Center? Why did I create Experience Daliona overall, which is the parent organization, I guess you could say, and one of the programs is Sidewalk Science Center. So what is Experience Daliona, and how did Sidewalk Science Center get started? And we have to go back about 16 years actually to when I was 11 years old and I started writing my first book. So I am a science fiction author. I've been writing science fiction books for almost 16 years come June 12th. And it was these science fiction books that eventually over the years led to the creation of Experience Daliona. So I wrote 3 books from the time I was 11 years old to the time that I was 17 years old, somewhere in there. And then in 2012 I wrote a short story, and then in 2013 that short story I transformed it into a novel, and that novel was Embassy, and I rewrote it a few times, and it took about 2 years for it to get published. But then after Embassy came the sequel called Resonance, and Resonance was the book that was kind of never supposed to be. I had actually chopped off the very end of the original draft of Embassy and saved it for a couple of years. Didn't really know when I was going to use it. Thought that the story was going to go in a completely different direction. And then after Embassy, I started coming up with these ideas that maybe I can take the story in this new direction, and that's kind of how Resonance was born. Resonance used, the last chapter that I had previously chopped off of Embassy, and I built up toward it, and I started integrating a lot of scientific concepts into this book. This is a very discovery-heavy book. There's a lot of exploration of planets and ecosystems. There's a lot of technology. There's, a lot of astronomy-based things. And, I was watching documentaries, nature documentaries, space documentaries, science documentaries. I was going out and talking with scientists just to kind of get a little bit clearer view of some of the things I was writing about. I was developing my own physics equations to, I guess, accommodate for some of the principles and sciences that you see in the books, because obviously not everything is going to be based 100% on fact. Although a lot of it is, there were some things I had to twist, and then I would write new things and develop new ideas based off of those concepts. One of the biggest ones being interstellar travel. So I actually have an entire page on my website detailing exactly how they are able to do interstellar travel in my books, and kind of like the history that led up to that. With Resonance, I also developed a science website specifically for the book. This was originally intended as extra content for Resonance. You could read the book, go to the website, and then you could read things about the planets that you see on there. There were news articles from some of the planets. There were, you can see different islands and archipelagos and kind of go on a little imagination tour around these. You can see the sports and how they're played on different planets. And I kind of started using that, as a bouncing point. Like, I had this fictional side to the website, and then I began integrating non-fiction, so real scientific concepts and facts, and kind of write essays about them, and then I would put them up on a non-fiction side of the website. All of this was back in 2014. This was 6 years ago. So in 2014, I had finished writing Resonance. I was starting to make this website that was supposed to be extra content, and eventually grew into a sort of science blog a little bit. And then in 2015 is when the book was published, and I began doing more and more like blog writing for scientific concepts, because I was still in college at the time, so I was still studying some of this stuff. And then after Resonance was published, and I was working on the 3rd book in the series, I began taking the website in a little bit different of a direction. Instead of mostly extra content for the books, I began doing more heavy blog content. So there are some blog posts that you can see on there. There are some scientific essays that you can see on the website if you go to if you stay on the non-fiction side of it. But then in, I think it was 2018, so right before I went to Finland to talk about how science fiction impacts science education. I also had begun doing a series of videos. So I transitioned from writing blog posts to creating videos where I would stop people on the street in Savannah, Georgia, and I'd kind of do like a little short 10-minute interview with them about different scientific concepts and kind of guide them to learn about how the sun rises and sets at a different time every day, or talking about what is energy, what is heat, why does Earth have months and weeks but Mars doesn't, and how do we create calendars for other planets. So I was interviewing people on the street in Savannah, Georgia. Then after Finland, this was about 2 weeks before Sidewalk Science Center was founded, I was doing a video. I was creating a video, and I was interviewing some of the people, and I had my science experiments right there. And after the interview, I started, doing these science experiments with them. Something with like a giant gyroscope where it's a bike tire and you spin it really fast and you can like balance it sideways. I was doing like the cups where you release the cups and they fly through the air. So I was starting to incorporate science experiments alongside the videos. And I was seeing that with the experiments, more people would stop. More people were kind of curious as to what was going on versus, hey, can you do a quick science interview for me real quick? And it took away the pressure of just having to stand in front of a camera and answer questions or be guided toward these answers. And it became more of a community thing where people were kind of like, hey, can I try that out? And it was on July 11th of 2018 that Sidewalk Science Center began. So with my writing of Resonance, right? Resonance is kind of like the book that I was studying a lot of science for, so I could incorporate into the book. And then I made the website because of Resonance. And with the website came the science blog. And with the science blog, then came the videos a couple years later. And from the videos, Sidewalk Science Center was created. Sidewalk Science Center won't be the only program. I do have some ideas based on what is in the books that I want to incorporate into the actual company. There is something called Zenith now, which Zenith, for anyone who's familiar or unfamiliar with scientific terms, Zenith refers to the point that is straight above you. So when you look straight up, you're looking at the zenith of your position. So that goes for anywhere on Earth. So different zeniths at different points around the Earth. If you're at the North Pole and you look straight up, you're looking straight up at the axis of Earth. Same thing on the southern side. And if you're standing on the equator and you look straight up, you are looking perpendicular to Earth's axis. It's pretty cool. So that's kind of all I really wanted to say today. Kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a history into why Experience Daliona is a thing at all, and how Sidewalk Science Center was founded. And I've been doing Sidewalk Science Center now for almost 2 years, coming up on the 2-year mark on July 11th. So July 11th is actually like the reopening date officially for the full iteration of Sidewalk Science Center. I'm going to kind of be doing I'm at the Riverwalk, but not doing the science experience. I'm going to be more trying to sell kits and trying to do scheduling events and stuff, and just get people aware that I'm still here and it's going to be opening on this date. And then on June 19th is when I'm going to bring back the telescope, and we'll have a few days of moon viewing throughout those couple weeks. And then on July 11th is when Sidewalk Science Center will return to the Brainton Riverwalk. So yeah, that's kind of a brief history of everything. If you ever want to learn more about Experience Daliona and Sidewalk Science Center, you can visit the website. I'll have the link up above in the description of this, or down below if you're on YouTube. And yeah, hope you guys are having a great, I think this is going to be on a Thursday, so great end of your week. And to all our endeavors, because we have a future to create, I'm Alex Martin, and I'll see you guys soon.